We have, one of our favorite guests, and we've been doing this show for, believe it or not, 17 years. We started doing a segment
Where have I been?
Well, you were here for the last 6 minutes. A segment we created a long time ago called Small Caps Are People Too helps us highlight smaller companies that you probably wouldn't find on your radar screen.
Right.
And one of those companies has turned into probably one of our favorites of all time, and it probably is the favorite of all time. I can't think of another one we've had more fun with,
right.
and that's been more compelling because we're watching them change as they move along their business model. Their business model, continues to develop and is getting better along the way. The name of the company is OriginOil, stock symbol OOIL. OriginOil.com. We had Nick Eckelberry, the co-founder, of course, star of Back to the Future, and
that's right,
and Taxi. But he was in studio last week, and how compelling is it when you can just see him when he's talking about, this is just the latest of what we're doing. This isn't even what I can even talk about what's going to come up next. Riggs Eckelberry, of course, is the CEO of the company. Riggs, how do you keep that chief inventor under wraps as you join us out of studio today? I'll tell you what, he's thinking so far ahead of you and the rest of us. You got to be excited about this company still.
Sully, he likes coming down to Solana Beach. That's all I can say.
He likes coming to San Diego.
Grabs his longboard and he's in the water.
I'll probably have him again this week, and he's good. Hey, listen, I did get a lot of email after his appearance on Friday, and email from folks who haven't heard you guys and listened to you guys before. I think it's important that maybe we talk about we talk about exactly what you guys do again, because you guys used to be sort of thought of as a developer of a breakthrough energy production process for the oil and algae industries, but you're much more than that. We started off with this clean-frac system. Let's kind of recap here again and talk about where you were and then where you've gone in the last 4 or 5 months, because it's been pretty significant.
Well, okay, Sully, and hello, Rusty.
How are you doing? Good.
Okay, so really it's a process of boiling it down to the most essential thing that we are, which is a way to take these tiny organic particles, usually contaminants, but sometimes good things like algae, out of huge quantities of water. And so this is a big challenge. It's a hard thing to do in an efficient way. Our process does it, as you heard from Nicholas, very, very well.
Yeah.
And we've identified 4 major areas where we do it. Our home industry, of course, was algae. Then, of course, there's old algae, which is just like you and me old people.
Yeah, leave me out of this.
Yeah, right.
I want to grow it. Wouldn't this be a great little side job? How come I couldn't go get a big
swimming pool, like a couple of plastic pools, and put it out back? And
every week you come by and pick up a truckload and get out of there.
They do harvest algae now, don't they? I mean, that's a pretty significant industry, is it not?
It's absolutely it's a great business for us. We're finding all kinds of ways to help the algae growers who have to deal with these. Essentially, Rusty, they are huge swimming pools of algae. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, how do you pull the stuff out? You can't get the Kool-Aid out of the Kool-Aid once it's dissolved in there.
Oh, that's true. That really is true. There is no way once it's in.
And you've tried that. One thing. Let me ask you something. Is one thing Nick talked about the other day is one of your breakthroughs, so to speak, was when you discovered that you could remove ammonia from water. When you guys figure out a kind of a new sort of wrinkle for this business model, is it by accident or is it through discovery? Was it planned? Because it seems to me every time you guys find something new in a business model, it's significantly better than the previous model, or at least is equally as robust with respect to potential market size. So, for example, let's just take that one, for example, removing ammonia, which has taken, I can't remember what he said. I think it takes days to get out of water, and you guys took it out in a matter of minutes. How did that come about? How do you guys come about to your next model?
Well, each time it's because there is demand. I get huge amounts of mail from people saying, "Hey, try pig farms. How about tailings from mines in Australia?" I mean, it goes on and on.
Sure.
But where we get traction is where there's a legitimate commercial opportunity that's inside our wheelhouse. And we were presented with a great opportunity just south of us near Palm Springs, where they have all these fish farms that have shut down because of high feed costs, high energy costs, and a great deal of it is because they have a need for a better feed, which is algae. And do you know that algae is not only healthier, but it's 1/3 the cost of conventional feed. So they need to adopt it. We help them with that. And then, as you said, in the ammonia side, they have, it's not days, it's weeks, Sully. We take weeks of filtering down to seconds. And a simple machine that's running the water through continuously in a pond is going to get the ammonia out and keep it much, much less toxic, healthier for people to eat.
Right.
Of course, the name of the company, OriginOil, stock symbol OOIL. Riggs Eckelberry joins me today. When you originally started this model, Riggs, with the turnkey drop off the container at the oil site, in conjunction with sort of that Dolby licensing model, has this changed at all, or is this still the same model for you guys?
Well, definitely, we are ultimately licensors. Now, in each industry, to jumpstart things, we take full responsibility for the commercial packaging to show the industry that it works. For example, we're working hard on what's called a throughput program or a pay-by-the-gallon model for the oil and gas industry. I think you'll be hearing more about that very, very soon, where instead of an oil operator having to pay, a couple $1 million for a system, they just start paying, 8, 12 cents a gallon for the processing. And believe me, that's much more profitable for the operator. And they're happier because they don't have to pony up the capital.
The interesting part of this thing, though, is, of course, the actual size of this market. You started off with one market size, and now because you're moving into other areas, your market size is tripled. If you think in terms of this, and just for the listeners and our viewers' sake, it's the bigger the market size is significant, because if you can project out market capture based on a very small number,
right?
You get an $8 billion market size, and you captured 0.0001% of that. It's still a very large number. That's got to excite you, Riggs. Is that some of these markets that you're getting into are much bigger than the market you anticipated in the very beginning. And speaking of which, it only gets better. First of all, Riggs, thanks for joining us again from out of town. One last question. I got about 30 seconds here. Do you anticipate you folks being in the same sort of business model in 6 months from now, or do you think it even gets more robust from here?
It gets more and more focused. We've now got 4 major industries, each of which is $100 billion plus: algae, ultimately petroleum, and aquaculture, and waste treatment. These are 4 massive industries, and you will see major penetration of these as we get traction in all of them.
Very good. Riggs Eckelberry, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I can't wait to talk to you next week. We're going to get Nick back in studio here.
That was a great camera angle, too. Had that Wizard of Oz kind of feel to him, didn't he?
OriginOil. OOIL is their stock symbol. Part of our small caps are people, too.